UFOs, Judaism, Islam, corporations, the cult of Saturn, and many other coincidences, something strange is going on with the Black Cube. The Black Cube is a center point of worship in multiple religions and even some cults. It's even connected to private intelligence agencies. We'll look at all those instances in just a bit, but it makes it strange when there's also now more revelations of a Black Cube now being seen with UFOs.
Not to my understanding, no.
So it's some sort of solid black cube that's inside this translucent sphere. And it's just floating around and flying around the sky.
So, you know, that's a good point. Is it floating around? Is it flying around? It's doing both, which is strange, right? Because you could think of that description and go, okay, that's kind of some kind of weird balloon maybe with stuff in it. And that's certainly, you know, one way. If you just view that angle of it, then it seems explainable. But when that, you know, the balloon-like object starts cruising around at, you know, 0.8 Mach, you know, that nullifies that particular idea.
That's Ryan Graves, the former Navy fighter pilot who blew the whistle on seeing these UFOs off the eastern shore of the United States. The ones that they commonly saw were a black cube inside of a jelly sphere. He said that not only on Joe Rogan's podcast, but testified this before Congress.
During a training mission in Warning Area Whiskey 72, 10 miles off the coast of Virginia Beach, two F-18 Super Hornets were split by a UAP. The object, described as a dark gray or a black cube inside of a clear sphere, came within 50 feet of the lead aircraft and was estimated to be 5 to 15 feet in diameter. The mission commander terminated the flight immediately and returned to base. Our squadron submitted a safety report, but there was no official acknowledgement of the incident and no further mechanism to report the sightings. Soon, these encounters became so frequent that aircrew would discuss the risk of UAP as part of their regular pre-flight briefs.
Seeing how often the black cube is used in different religions, and now we're seeing it connected so much to UFOs, just even more validates that there's some blurred line between UFOs and spirituality. During the whole drone incident that we still have no answers for, the FAA records added a black cube to sightings over Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Some of these documents are redacted, but on December 19th, 2024, a crew reported that a drone passing beneath them at about 500 feet was described as a black cube. This sighting here was from Texas, and it looks like it's more of a morphing image. We've seen other ones similar to this, but we do notice that at some moments it turns into a black cube, kind of similar almost to the pattern that we see on top of Saturn, and also similar to this black cube sighting recorded by a pilot.
The pilot then points his camera phone out of the cockpit window, and watch this as he zooms in. A metallic-looking object, a polyhedron of some sort, whizzes by in a straight line. We slow it down and zoom in further. You can see it kind of looks like a cube.
It has these kind of little points that stick out. It does seem to be darker in color and not like a bright, shining balloon. Whatever this is, it definitely shouldn't be there.
Now, it's hard to judge this object's size without knowing how far away it is, but scientist Amy Eskridge estimates it's 10 to 15 feet in diameter.
One theory is that if we were visited by another civilization, they might send probes ahead of when they actually come.
There's also some black cube that was recorded near the sun, and at the same moment, there was a glitch on NASA's feed, leading many to believe that they are covering up whatever this black cube was flying around the sun. And this isn't the first time that we saw something strange around the sun that there's still no answers to. This sphere that looked like it was receiving energy from a solar flare off of the sun or draining energy from it, still no explanation from it, and something similar to that was even seen years before on these images here. It's pretty clear at this point that the UFOs are connected to some sort of spiritual manifestation. Many people out there are now summoning these things, and they appear on a regular basis. This would not happen with physical entities from another planet. Obviously, a spiritual deception and manifestation, which makes it kind of strange, which at the same time that we're seeing so many black cubes now connected to UFOs, that for a long history, the black cube has been involved with different cults, different secret societies, and obviously even plays a big role in Islam and Judaism. The cult of Saturn historically has its roots in ancient Roman and Greek mythology, where Saturn is known as Kronos in Greek, who was referred to as a god of time, harvest, and renewal. We've seen this continue on into cults of today and secret societies, the types of people who are involved in like the Illuminati or like the deep state, which does make it weird when we look at the symbolism connected to so many organizations and corporations. NASA, Nike, Target, Earthlink, AAA, all of these look to have rings around it like the ring of Saturn. How this draws back to the black cube is because of the storm on the top of Saturn looks like a 3D image of a black cube, leading many people to believe that this cult of Saturn has their influence in many different places and areas of society today. In 2017, the Satanic Temple built a black cube monument to honor veterans in response to a Christian monument of a soldier kneeling down next to a cross. This connection to secret societies and the cult of Saturn may be why we see the black cubes scattered all throughout the world. Here's just a few instances in Santa Ana, California, Manhattan, Australia, Denmark. There are many more than this. It really does start to make you wonder what exactly is this black cube that so many different people and corporations and religions are sharing in a main point of what they do. Saudi Arabia is spending $50 billion on the world's largest building, which could hold 20 Empire State Buildings. And as we can see in their preview animated videos of what it will look like, it's just a massive golden cube. This one with a bunch of triangles looking inside of it. This may be connected to the fact that this Islamic nation also has their most holy site of Kaaba, the black cube that they circle with the black stone that they all kiss. And the history of the Kaaba is actually a center where a lot of false gods used to be worshipped. One of the main ones was Habal, who was a moon god in the ancient Middle East. And I'm sure they had gods to the different planets, Saturn being a bright light in the star. For sure they had one to Saturn too. And so this is the same exact thing going on there today. The worship of a false god Saturn was in that building originally. Now they continue to worship another false god there, circling around the Kaaba, almost like making rings around the cube of Saturn when they perform their tawaf of circling the Kaaba 7 times. Worth mentioning as we're looking into architecture, the Contemporary Jewish Museum in San Francisco also has the shape of black cubes in it. The claim of the museum is that it's because of the Hebrew letters Chet and Yud, which spell Chai, meaning to life, and apparently these two letters together represent somehow black cubes. Also worth noting, as we're talking about an Israeli connection here, there is an organization known as Black Cube Creative Intelligence, which again is a strange word for an intelligence agency, and this agency is mostly made up of former Israeli intelligence units and those who previously served in Israel Defense Forces. A black cube also has a connection in Judaism. Well, at least in modern Judaism, we'll look at exactly what the Old Testament was saying and how this is being used to wear this black cube on their heads today. And what this black cube is that many Jewish people wear on their heads is called tefillin or phylactery. And this is a small leather box that's containing parchment scrolls inscribed with verses from the Torah on them. And the reason they do this, I think, is from these 2 Old Testament verses. The first in Exodus 13:9, "It shall be a sign to you on your hand and as a memorial between your eyes, that the Lord's law may be in your mouth. For with a strong hand the Lord has brought you out of Egypt." And Deuteronomy 6:8 says, "You shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes." It's also mentioned in Deuteronomy 11:18, "Therefore you shall lay up these words of mine in your heart and in your soul, and bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes." I believe what's actually being told here is God is saying to have his words and his ways constantly on our hearts and on our minds and on our hands and in everything that we do, and not to necessarily physically attach them to us. Now, something that's definitely not mentioned anywhere in the Bible, Old or New Testament, is Metatron's cube. This is a claimed sacred geometric pattern named after who's allegedly an archangel called Metatron, who symbolizes wisdom and divine knowledge. It consists of 13 circles with connected lines, derived from the other claimed geometric sacred pattern, the Flower of Life, which encompasses 5 Platonic solids. This is a teaching of Jewish mysticism and Kabbalistic texts, which are from the Babylonian Talmud and mystical Kabbalistic texts, which obviously are in no way the word of God. So what exactly is going on with this black cube? I don't know, but it is weird that so many corporations, so many different religions, and now so many UFO sightings all have this connection and this representation of a black cube involved with them in a massive way, or even at the center of what they do. But what I do know is that the black cube will keep you boxed in. The shape you need to know to be set free is the cross. Jesus alone can unite you with God and give you salvation. If you haven't accepted him as the true Lord of your life, do so today. Therefore, if the Son makes you free, you shall be free indeed.